The time is nigh. Open up your eyes to see the signs of the times. Got to be wise to all of their lives. Look to the sky from where my help comes. Wake up, got to wake up from the slumber. Don't let them pull you under. Rise up of the water. Never let them wrestle you into the mud.
Yeah, we up and running. Look, we up and running. Yes, family. Greetings in the name of His and Her Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie the First, Empress Menen. Yes, family. One perfect balance. Welcome again to another special episode of Politically Incorrect. Yeah, we took a little hiatus right there for a minute, working out some legal issues with the social media platforms. Apparently, some folks have been reporting the Rastaman for violating the community values or something along those lines. But nevertheless, we decided to take the opportunity to make this thing happen on another level. So here we are now with you tonight. I'm trying to get the volume down on this thing so it don't come in too loud. So here we are now with you tonight. All right. There you go. So I in the studio, now we're in the studio with you. Yeah, so we're here tonight. The question is, what is wrong with the men in Barbados? What is wrong with the men in Barbados? That's the topic for the night. If this is something that's going to intrigue you, it's a call-in program. Feel free to call in, share your views. I'll put the link to the studio. Matter of fact, let me copy it now. There you go. And let's post this really quick. Let me put this link up right now one time so those who want to come on in could come on in and we can have this conversation. I want to give a shout out to everyone from YouTube. Yes, YouTube, they banned YouTube, they blocked it, they shut it down, and they shut it down. Well, we up and running again. So the show must go on is what they say, right? Well, guess what? We on the ground, man. We on the ground. But the taxi, this runway, we going to take off. The reason why this topic is so important because we actually want to get back to the one we started with, which was what was wrong with the women in Barbados. And that was such a response that a lot of folks kept telling me, we got to have a part two. You got to have a part two. So in so doing, I felt it's only necessary. Let's do the men as well, have a conversation, and just kind of review where we were at and what we gained from that knowledge, that conversation. One of the things that folks was complaining about was that, man, they found like too many women dominated that conversation about what was wrong with the women. It should have been the men calling in to respond. And I said to someone, I agree to some degree, but the numbers on the screen, speaking of which, the numbers on the screen, speaking of which, let me find banner, bam, number on the screen, ta-da, number on the screen. I hope you all like the new intro. Shout out to the sister as well. Intro on the music. For sure, y'all know the tune already, but we're trying some new things, we're not even trying it. We're doing new things. We're doing different things. And we're bringing the energy more now than before. I want to give us thanks to the people who have been patiently, tuning in and waiting and just being patient with Politically Incorrect while we get it correct. You know what I'm saying? Anyhow, I want to give a special shout out to two people. And well, for everyone and right now who's celebrating this particular month, I want to give a special shout out to those who's celebrating the Earth Strong in this amazing month of June. It is here. It's officially here. Yes, it's the season for those who are in tune. And yes, we give you all the praise and all the glory in your time. I want to give a special shout out to Jackie over and away. You know what I mean? Celebrated her entry day this week. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, so, well, today, but the time zone yesterday, yeah, something like that. Anyhow, Jackie, this for you. You already know how we feel. Much love, much respect, and also give a big shout out to moms. The matriarch. Give a big shout out to moms. Moms, just giving you a big shout out just because you're so special and because you give everybody a scare yesterday. Cut that out, man. Just cut that out. So from Barbados to UK, nothing but love, sunshine, and kinetic energy. All your directions. So when you sit and watch this on your big screen on the wall, know that Barbados loves you and we send all the energy to you and your family. Having said that, There's so much going on in the world right now, so much going on in the Caribbean right now. But what's also happening, family, is that this conversation about the men, we need to have this conversation, man. What is wrong with the men in Barbados can probably be applied to the whole region and the whole world. But we live in Barbados, so we're going to isolate it, keep it here. And if you want to call in from where you are, not a problem. But we're going to have this conversation tonight. So definitely want to shout out everybody who's also in the chat, in the comments. I see you, Brian. I see you, family. I'm glad you up early because I know you had a lot to say. The number on the screen or the link to the studio is also in the comments. Click on it. It works better on a Chrome browser. Come on in the studio. We answer one rule and one rule only, man. You know what I'm saying? There's no disrespect. You know, it's okay to share your thoughts and views, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's it. I ain't gonna tell you, man. Black line security in full effect here, and seen and unseen. So it's a matter for you. Anyhow, shout out to everybody else there. Link up. Yeah, I see you, Sunflower. Jackie, I see you as well. Lloyd, shout out to Dominica. Shout out to the whole Dominica, the whole Caribbean, but definitely Dominica. Dominica, you're large and in charge, man. Politically incorrect, soon on the ground. Boots in Dominica just now. Watch it. Love y'all, love y'all, love y'all. One perfect balance, Dominica. Tell a friend and tell a friend, family. I'm going to drop a tune real quick before we jump into this thing. And I want y'all to just, get this brother here a good meditation because it's a message, as always. It's a message. Just don't play songs. I be dropping messages, man. Politically incorrect. Battle axe. Big tune, family. Pay attention. New release.
Calling all ages, every generation.
Every generation, time to stand up, family.
Calling all human. We must stand, we must stand. All injustice and all wrong.
I can pull it from the beginning. I can almost hear Jackie saying already, listen, that tune right there, it can be a fire tune. We see that. We're going to be a fire tune, family, so we're going to let it play out. Listen to the words, family. Listen to the words. This is a disclaimer right here, by the way. Let me put it out in the early. This film contains images of war and violence, flashing lights and suggestions of corruption across the world. We salute all freedom fighters that standing up for justice and equality rights in its truest form. Real thing. Pay attention, family. It's a message. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Politically incorrect, up and running. True events, family. True events.
Calling all ages.
Tell a friend and tell a friend, family.
Calling all human. We must stand, we must stand. All injustice and all wrong.
Tell a friend and tell a friend.
Flesh flashed against the windows. Yeah. As them come in contact with machine built against love. What was the promise of your convention? To oversee the mindless sacrifice of every human. Backwards, them calling my name. Them come to the front of the war. You are the savior. Backwards, them calling my name. Them shall come to the front of the war. You are the savior. Was bounded by a spell, you call my name. With every mention of such spell, you works proclaim.
Tell a friend, family.
I hear seek to be removed from that veil. Building thoughts, real action proclaim. So warriors, where is your true destiny? Warriors, where is your true life? Buckle up, I'm calling my name. Them say come to the front of the war, you are the same. Buckle up, I'm calling my name. Them say come to the front of the war, you are the same. The heartbeat of the first man rings through all days. Survival of the fittest was never in his place.
Never.
So I hereby claim the rights of stolen days and memories once buried now raised. Survival of the fittest was never in his place.
Never in the plan, family. Never the plan.
Survival of the fittest was never on his place.
They don't have a plan for us. We gotta have one for ourselves.
I'm calling our name. Them say come to the front of the war, you are the savior.
Yes, family.
Buckle up.
Tell a friend and tell a friend.
Calling our name.
Tell a friend and tell a friend.
Them say come to the front of the war, you are the saints. Buckle up.
Badalak,
I'm
family.
calling you.
Calling your
Forged
name,
in love, formed in fire, formed in righteousness, forged in love,
Forged in love.
forged in fire,
Forged in the fire, family.
formed in righteousness, real righteousness,
Righteousness.
Buckalooks.
Righteousness. Look, man, that tune there, family. I ain't gonna tell you, man. I ain't gonna tell you, family. That tune right there hitting hard, man. If you didn't catch it, the link right there in the comments. Go get that tune, you too. The brother Battle Axe. Go get it. Go get it. Go get it, family. I mean, it speaks volumes, man. Volumes, man. All you can do is just like absorb the energy. Just absorb it, man. The message is in the music. The message in the music. Shout out to Aggie, by the way. Definitely gonna give my brother a shout out. He know why. He could see why. Yeah, man. Yeah. Wow. Wow. It said greetings, Earth Day. Jackie, you getting a shout out from Dominica. Said her second name is also Jackie. We got a few Jackies in the building for sure, for sure. Happy Earth Day, Jackie. Yeah, family is family. Wait, Maria, shout out to Maria too, and shout out to moms, man. Moms had a day yesterday as well. We give thanks to moms as well. Blessed Earth Day, Jackie, from Jackie. You know what I mean? Politically incorrect, the Fade family in full effect. Yeah, welcome, El. Man, listen, man, they had me on pause. And although we could have streamed live on Facebook, I think I did one to explain what was happening. But I didn't want to do the Facebook and exclude you too. We in it together or we not in it at all. That's it. That's it. We rolling together. So, yeah, we took the time to take a knee. We took a knee like a good fight in the ring. 8 count. We got back on our feet. We back in our game. And we throwing punches again. So look out. Yeah, it's that time though, family. What is wrong with the men in Barbados? What's wrong with them? Wayne said the women responded about themselves, which was good. I agree. I agree. So we're going to see tonight what's really going on. Love and light to you too, family. Love and light to you. Blessed love to you too, family. Natasha, we see you. We see you. Dominique in the building. Like I said, it's all good. Yeah, man, the sunflower in full effect. All the sunflowers. Got a few sunflowers. Shout out to all the sunflowers that turn to the sun. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's what's up. And your family is good. Give thanks for the warm welcome, the return. It feels great to be here again, sharing. So many things has happened since then. So many things are going on right now. So much trouble in the world right now. There's all kind of agendas going on, all kind of stuff going on in the primary schools in Barbados, taking precedence to some degree. I have a few things I want to say about that, and I think it's only right that it happens on the night of the men. So a lot of people are asking me, what are my thoughts? How comes I didn't do a program on the whole, school thing? this agenda thing and bathroom thing and all this thing and all this thing. Yeah, though. Listen, I always tell people we got to make our minds up. We either want comfortability before enslavement or we want liberation. Those are two distinct, different conversations. So, although a lot of people are chanting what sounds similar to the untrained ear, one of the chants is comfortability with enslavement, which is fine because not everybody left Egypt and crossed the Red Sea. Some folks actually stayed on with a new job, the new mortgage, the business or whatever, school, tuition, social status, whatever it was that kept them. A few, they stayed back. They wanted to stay up in Egypt. They were comfortable. Well, the rest of us crossed the Red Sea, went and built our own. All I'm saying, family, we got to stop asking the slave master to accommodate us. Now, that going to hit hard for some people. It's going to fly over some people's head. But the reality is we got to stop asking the oppressor to ease the oppression. He's either going to let it go. Look, you realize, right, family, all we got to do is stand up. Just turn. The Bible says it best. Come out of her, my people. You cannot experience heaven while living in hell with air condition. That gonna miss people, man. I ain't even touching it no further. I'll say the rest for the end of the program. I'll tell you what I truly think and what we should do, what my thoughts are, so they don't contradict anybody. On that note, family, what is wrong with men in Barbados? Because right now, men need to stand up. The man need to stand up. The brother said it, calling all. It's time to take a stance. But what kind of stance are we taking? Are we taking a stance to fight a system, which is exhausted energy in a direction, or are we taking a stance to take over a system that's already been running and designed to be a certain way, or are we taking a stance and building our own? Good questions. Let's go to the airwaves, family. On the internet, what do we call airwaves, internet? I ain't get the language right yet. Let's go to the lines. The studio lines is open. The link is available for those who want to come on in the studio. You know what I'm saying? That was your brother tune right there, Battle Axe. If you want to come on in the studio, the link is right there on the screen. It's StreamYard. Just click on the link. Come on in. The link is in the comments. Come on in and tell a friend to tell a friend. Let us know what you think about this particular discussion. What is wrong with the men in Barbados? You know, I could start. I could start. Maybe I should start. You know, I find that one of the things that, like we discussed with we talked with the women, was the effects of what they call enslavement. Some call it slavery, but we were never slaves. We were enslaved. And because we were enslaved, meaning we were prisoners of war, well, you know, the story that they tell us in schools, that they teach our children back in schools again, is about slavery and being a slave. So the educational system is designed to cripple the minds of the children, especially boy children, young men. So imagine you have a system called education that is designed to cripple and arrest the development of our young men from very early in terms of what they teach and how they teach. Okay, yes, education is very important. I'm not saying it isn't, but so is learning. And education and learning may have a different agenda, because you could be educated in a particular field. Learning is across the board. You learn every day, all day, about everything. But education perhaps is more specific. And at the earlier years in a child's life, a lot of things happen that kind of be absorbed like sponges that kind of dictate how that young man is going to develop. A lot of good influences and perhaps some negative ones. So we got to look at this very holistic. You know, we could cherry pick and discuss, well, you know what? I don't like this new agenda, this new policy or reform for the students at school in terms of allowing them to cross-dress or whatever. I don't know really what it is. But there are a lot of serious issues that have been plaguing the educational system in Barbados, especially with regards to shaping the minds of our young people and limiting their ability to excel, because they have to create a permanent underclass. Everybody can be a doctor, a lawyer, so they've already decided how they're going to tailor that. So when you have a system that's designed to cripple your people, We don't even get into the agenda thing, because the agenda thing is a new thing. It's a new thing that folks are really not impressed with. And the truth is, as much as there are people who are against it, and there are a lot of people who are against it, rightfully so, by the way, according to them, but there are other people who feel as though, you know what, they want that to happen. They want it to be that way, that they really want that. So I'm wondering, at some point, will they clash? Because there are people in Barbados that represent certain letters of the LGBT community. There's even an organization here in Barbados, and it's ran by a young lady who I've seen her in the paper a couple of times. But here's the reality. They may not have a problem with that. What if they decide to march for this to be put into schools? As a matter of fact, what if they decide to march and it's a whole lot more of them marching in support of than those against? What happens then? I mean, what happens then? I mean, parents coming out and saying, we don't want that, it's fine. Folks come out and say, actually, we want this and this is fine. What does the government do? Cater to the majority crowd or take both sides into consideration? It's a dilemma. It's a trap. God forbid they cross paths and somebody push somebody. God knows where that would lead. My suggestion is different, though. It's time to take your children, and start doing something different. Take them out to school, man. I mean, that's their school. If that's what, I mean, not every parent have the ability to take a child out to school. I fully get that. And we should advocate for those all across the board. I totally agree. But, like the frog in the hot water, right? We waited and waited and waited and waited and waited. We adjusted and adjusted and adjusted and adjusted. And guess what, family? It is boiling point. It has reached its climax. We're at the boiling point. There's absolutely nothing they could suggest doing to children at this point that would push us over the edge. This is the precipice of that change. Reality. So the men are needed more now than ever before. So the question is, what's wrong with the men? You would think that fathers are not even going to touch the church. We're not even going to touch the church, because I don't see why a Rasta man, or anybody for that matter, should go to tell the church, wait, y'all coming out. I think the church is supposed to have been out. I'm just saying, my 2 cents. I'm not a Christian. Anyhow, what I like to say, though, family, is that the men are needed more now than ever, because the man's responsibility in life is different from a woman's. And this is why we have relationship issues, which, by the way, is the next conversation. We're going to discuss that in the next conversation. What's going on with the men and the women? What's going on with the family? What's going on with the relationships between, what's going on with relationships, the family? We're going to get into that our next conversation. Right now, family, if we don't look at it this way, at least consider that men are homeless and the homes are manless. A lot of homes don't have men in it. And for those who do have, thank God for the strong men present, the man presence. We give thanks for that. And for brothers who doing what they're supposed to do. But men, like women, men are tired too. But what are men tired of? What is it that men are tired of? Well, let me say this. I find that a lot of women in Barbados are very argumentative. They love to argue about the simplest of things. It's always a chip on the shoulder. And by the way, I'm not saying every woman in Barbados is like this. No. I'm wiser than that. Security, just checking. I'm saying that a lot of our sisters do have a chip on their shoulders. And that stems from a lot of different experiences that perhaps in most cases might be very negative. But that plays out in a lot of them trying to emasculate men in the way they speak to men, the way they address them, the way they deal with them, the way they deal with its sons. And I see it. I see it when we go out. We walk and we see it. I mean, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And then the men have a way of responding to that. And that's where the problem comes in. Because then the man becomes frustrated differently. And the man's frustration is different to a woman's frustration. Very different. So we're going to open up the line and see what our family out away and abroad have to say about this situation. What is wrong with the men in Barbados? Who is going to be our first caller? Who's going to click the link and come in the studio? Who's going to make the call? I tell men all the time, I see a lot of brothers sometimes, and they tell me, well, they live with their woman and stuff. As a man, right? You should never do that. Like, nah, a man should always have his own place, always. And if you get with a woman and you live with her, you want to live with her, fine, but make sure you have your own space, because I find when you're living with the woman and she taking care of everything, I see a lot of men in those situations, man, usually have to take a lot of verbal abuse. You're in a good, way, don't try and get up for work, And I'm not saying the brother may not be actually trying. I'm saying if you're a certain type of man, you're going to have to find a way to make it happen, because society is rigged for you not to make it happen at all. We have a caller on the line here. Calling from Guyana. Welcome. You're on the air, family.
Good night, Emmanuel. I like the topic you have tonight. And I would like to say something, I like how you start off with the role of the men. Many African men had a rough beginning, because when we came to the Western Hemisphere, they were not allowed to stay with their offspring. And many of them were taken away from their family in Africa, the motherland. When they came here, they had to adapt to changes. And one of the major changes was that they were no longer head of their homes. Because remember, Massa became the head. And when a man would be there to caution his house or look over his house, he suddenly became worse than a child, because he had no say.
Right.
Even if he had a wife and he tried to, the first thing he had to get over was the language barrier, because I know they mix up everybody so that you did not one fluent language with the people. By the time he get over the language barrier and start to connect, by the time he get a couple children,
Yes, continue.
yeah, a lot of African men get this drifting nature, but they never stop to say that after one time is another, and remove from that, and seeing that how the time has evolved now to live, but that is in the tendency. Now you would say that woman may be nagging or so. We women like certain things to be there. And we will tend to, well, as you men would say, nag. But I think if the two persons, when you come together, you should do a lot of communication to know where each the level of the opposite party. And once you come together on a level, I don't think there would be this nagging and going on, because I should meet you halfway and the other party should meet the other party halfway. And if we both could meet each other halfway, there would be less nagging and going on to irritate the other person. Now, the last thing before I go, because I know other people got to call in, is the thing with the cross-dressing and so. Now you know as a man, I'm quite certain you may have a wife, that you got the attraction to your partner or your wife at a tender age. Sometimes it may have started even unto as early as in school. Now when you, a government, you encourage these set of people, the gays to have such a prominent fixture in your country. They will see little children and they will indoctrinate them into the gay life. And you cannot think. And I feel that is where the schools should step back from it. Because I would like to know, I have a straight child in my home, and the child has been pulled into a gay life because of the allowance of gays in the school. I don't know how it will resonate with me, and I know there may be parents with my same type of understanding may not be able to accept that for the straight children. Because if the gays get through, right away, the world will be over. Because there will be no type of people in the earth, because two men can make children and two women together cannot make children. So right away, the earth will be finished. Bye-bye. And
Yes,
thanks for accepting me.
not a problem. Not a problem. Thanks again, and shout out to the whole Guyana. Guyana, we love it.
Okay.
We love it. We love it. We love it. Thanks, sis.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Yes, yes, that was quite thought provoking. I like a few of the points she made in terms of the men having to deal with the emotions from what we call enslavement time. A lot of us don't look at it like that, but the truth is, this has been going on for a while. Imagine as a man, you have a wife. Well, they allow you. Listen to the words carefully. They allow you to have a wife and have offspring, and you're home after a hard week at this plantocracy thing, and you going into your space, your slave hut or new government housing, and you there relaxing the Sunday. And after service, because you wasn't allowed to go to church, you could be a Christian, but you can't come into the white man church. You wasn't allowed in. Nah, you can't come. You gotta go outside and meet with the apostle or whoever. And while you home, your door fly open, and a bunch of men walk in from the church after they had lunch. And they had this thing called the Feast of the Plantation. What the Feast of the Plantation was basically was that the enslavers would come to your house and say, look, you know what, this week, me and my friends here, after we just ate, we want the pick of the plantation. So we're picking your wife and your daughters today. And as a man, you got to go outside and sit on the step while this man and his counterparts inside ravishing and having a way with your daughters and your wife. And guess what happened? At first, you want to resist, like, yo, man, I would kill you, but don't touch my woman, don't touch my children, I would kill you. Now, watch what the black woman had to go through. Watch this psychological trick, man. This is deep, family. If she allow you to attack this white man, afterwards, they're going to kill you. So now, she's going to be without a husband, children going to be without a father. So what does she do? Think about it. What does she do? She says, hold on, honey. Wait a minute. Hold on, honey. I love you, and I know you're willing to do this, but I don't want to be without you. So I'll tell you what. You going outside, I'm going to deal with it. That's right, boy. Take your nigger ass outside. Going out, boy. That's right. And she telling you to go. Imagine that. You as a man can't deal with this thing. You ready to fight for your family, but she telling you, listen, bro, go outside, man. I go and deal with this, man. And this man, I know you got to go outside. For those trying to link up and call in, I'm going to put the link on the screen again. It's a virtual studio. Just click on it and follow instructions. But like I said, it works better with Chrome. The link is in the comments right there. Check it out and come on in. So after you go outside now, you got to go outside and sit on your step where all the neighbors watch you because they all know what goes on because they all have been victims of it. So the first week he come, second week he come, third week, and she's doing this against her will and the children being madness. After while you walk, look, by a certain time in this experience, guess what? He might decide he fall in love. He might bring a little pigtail, a little ends of cloth so she can make a quilt. Yeah, bring the pig guts so she can make a little put in her sauce, make it look like kielbasa sausages, although it wasn't sausages like the one he had. And she started to put up with this to the point where they're inside laughing and giggling. And you outside like, wait, what are they laughing about? So you see me? Again, down the road by the rum shop and drink. Because I can't deal with this. I can't deal with it. And guess what? The black woman, in most cases, been asking the black man to step outside ever since. And the black man ain't been able to deal with it, and he been drinking ever since. If not spirits, drinking in his own despair. Somebody said they're trying to call in. The number's on the screen if you want to call on WhatsApp. The number is area code 246-838-8253. Like once again, that number is area code 246-838-8253. Or you can click on the link for the studio. I just put it up there on Facebook and on YouTube. Click on the link. Like I said, it's a virtual studio. Come on in. You don't have to show your face if you don't want to. You can just use your voice. That's not a problem. But give us your thoughts, because this thing been broken down for a long time. It's time to heal it. But we ain't going to be able to fix the relationship unless we start to fix ourselves, both man and woman. So we're going to have to be honest with ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Men, being a man ain't easy. Being a man is one of the requirements for survival. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. I mean, they say in the absence of men, women become masculine, which is funny. They say in the absence of man, women become masculine. But in the absence of females, men don't become feminine. You know, they stay masculine because that's how you survive, not by becoming feminine. You stay masculine. Survival is the strong and the fittest. Masculinity is a serious thing, huh? But yeah, Brittany, the number's on the screen. Give it a call if you feel it calling in. Area code 246-838-8253. Feel free to give us a call. I can't even keep up with the comments, man. There's just so many of them. Why y'all don't call in? Y'all writing up a storm tonight. I want to call in on what do you do? Okay, like I said, the number's on the screen. Give us a call. Give us a call or click on the link for the studio and come on in, sis. This ought to be interesting. Somebody asked about men who are being abused and taken advantage of sexually by women. Are there women predators like that who take advantage of men and young men? As far as the men who are ready to take the life of a woman, you know, that's a whole different conversation. I mean, don't do that. Men don't do that. Emotionally unstable males do that. That's what happens. Emotionally unstable males are the ones that are abusive. Men protect. Caller, you're live with us. Good night. Good night. Welcome to Politically Incorrect.
Hi, good night, brother Emmanuel.
Yes,
good night to everybody.
Good night, brother.
Now, listen, you hit on something just now that I have known before, but hearing it again, I mean, it put a stake in my heart. And as regards to how things would have been with the slave masters, et cetera, and the home of black men and stuff like that, I know that used to go on. It's quite right, and worse too. But nevertheless, I want to go back to a little local thing here in Barbados. I remember as a youngster coming up in secondary school, I started to notice something creeping into society as a whole. I used to hearing a lot of young ladies with these type of statements coming. I mean, it started to become more and more frequent. You know, I used to catch the bus at that time. You go in the bus terminal and you're hearing these girls talking about this thing and this thing. I don't want a man. I just want a baby. I just want a child. I want a man. Mm-hmm. And that became like an anthem for them, something that they sort of aspire to. Mm-hmm. And I remember I said to myself, so what gonna happen to me? What gonna happen to the young men? Mm-hmm. Well, if they don't want me, what's my role? What am I supposed to do? Right? And already that affected my psyche even then. I know that rooster came home to roost. Mm-hmm. That chicken came home to roost already. Mm-hmm. Because those boys that would have been hearing that became men. Mm-hmm. Okay? Those young ladies who would have been saying those things, manifested those things, had children without fathers. True. Purposefully. True. Without probably even knowing what they were doing, because the system was in place already we know it never stopped. But it was in place to continue to degrade the society more and more and more. There was always a gap between girls and boys learning. You will always hear scientific information about girls, excelling a little more than boys at an earlier age, etc., etc. That was the norm. Okay?
True.
Boys tend to be more technical and have their own boy ways and do their own boy things, but they tend to catch up later down the road. It became an issue. For some reason, like how climate change is an issue now, a non-issue in a sense. Where in reality, we were being set up as boys then, being set up then for later in life as men, in the situation we are in now, where we have, you heard that term, boys are in crisis.
True.
From way back in the like 80s and 90s, all like now that term is still being used. If you check the internet and type in boys in crisis Barbados, you could go down the line and you're gonna see it's still with this thing about boys in crisis, men in crisis, boys in crisis. Now tell me something that goes on in the news, you hear it in government announcements, it's in the system. They're attacking not only the society as a whole with this thing, but they're attacking the boys constantly. Okay, and we have to wake up to that. The women have to wake up to this thing too, because all of us getting bamboozled, all of us getting dragged along in this thing without even realizing what is really happening psychologically to us.
Serious.
We gotta wake up to this thing, and from back then to now, I still remember it like if it's daytime. I mean, I was like, all of these, majority of these young ladies today have no fathers, or come along with the children, no fathers, home at the single parent home, and they rate like a badge. And then on top of that, then you had boys in crisis, and they start complaining about boys, men. What we gonna do about the boys in crisis? Have you ever heard about girls in crisis, Emmanuel?
Never.
Why they attacking the boys? We have to wake up to this thing. It has been going on for decades. It has been going on for hundreds of years. It's still going on today. It's in the school system. It is in the whole system that we're in, and it is destroying us a bit at a time. And when we sitting down here eating at one another as men versus women and women versus men, the actual weapon being used is right in front of our face.
True.
You see? And we got to wake up to that. That is what's really causing a lot of this backlash between men and women. We both have our own individual characteristics. We are not allowed to have those things. Some are being forced to have other characteristics which are not natural for them. And that goes for women too. Because you're finding women today, the complaint, even from some women, is that women are too masculine.
Serious.
Where that come from? Any woman now could tell me if, when they're at work, if the first thing that they can hear them complain about is this woman come and tell me something, she always bothering me, she always interfering me, this body got this body, and it's always women. This aggressive attitude that they tend to have, even with women.
Serious.
Where that come from? But the same about women today, because you definitely have to call black lion. This is about the men.
Serious.
Okay,
Serious.
we have come, as you said before, we come through a lot of trauma. We're still going through it right now, and when we have to deal now with the way that the system has messed up our women. There's no more humility in our women. They're extremely aggressive, and majority. Look, I came along. My mother was a teacher, and I used to go to her school. I ain't gonna call the school name or nothing like that. But I used to go to school on evenings to wait for my dad to come for us. Let me tell you something. Every day, practically almost every day, a fight used to break out. Guess who it was?
Wow.
Not the boys.
Wow.
It used to be the girls.
So wait, what you're saying
and
is,
that was back.
but what you're saying then is not the boys in crisis. It means that the girls are in crisis.
Thank you.
The complete
Good.
opposite.
So no, yes. So you understand where I'm coming from. The girls were in crisis, but the boys said that the boys were in crisis, but all the while the girls were getting messed up, and they were free to do it. While everybody was looking to the left, they really needed to look to the right, because to the right is where crap was going on.
Serious.
They was messing up our girls, who then became women. With all of this messed up attitude and behavior, the humility gone, the aggression they had like boys, they're fighting like boys, you name it. And this whole thing is met. So as you said before,
pass on to the children.
Pass on to the children. We cannot sit down in this thing and try to fix it. This people talk about a great reset. You got to do your own great reset within your own society, your own system.
Serious.
You got to start from the ground up. You can't fix this here.
It's too far gone, man.
Too far gone.
There's too many components.
So we got to start. Man. Yeah, yes, we will have to start from scratch, and it's not going to happen from no government. It's not going to happen by people just getting up and saying, men and women, let me do this. No, it's not going to happen. So there has to be a concerted effort within communities or a community to start fresh. If not, this will continue till whenever we be dust in the earth. Serious. And it will continue. It's not going to change.
Serious. So
this is a very heavy and complex topic, but it's not too complex if you really figure out, look, all of us got tricked. All of us, men and women.
That's right.
But we have to open our eyeballs to see the little trick that they're playing with us. And you're going to start to realize, look, we have to get our women now to cut down this masculinity thing. It's not you. Whoever told you that it is empowerment to behave like a man and try to achieve like a man or whatever like a man, you are a woman. Be yourself.
That's right.
You follow nature.
That's
nature
right.
Will tell you. Right? Nature will tell you what you're supposed to be and how you're supposed to be, how you're supposed to behave. The woman in nature generally is a more tempered creature.
That's right.
Because it don't want that. Just to keep it to humans. Check female animals. If you go look to the animals, female animals tend to be more tempered. Okay, more in tune with certain things. Mm-hmm. Men, the masculine creatures tend to have their own way of dealing with things. That has been robbed from us, and they're trying to mix the two now.
Serious.
Okay, oil
Serious.
and water.
Serious.
It ain't gonna work. So I could talk for the whole night, but right now I will let somebody else get in.
Much appreciated.
Thanks a lot for listening.
Thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing, caller. Give thanks, man. Yeah, family, the passion is present. I love it. The brother spoke from his heart, and that's one of the things we need men to do. Be real with yourself and speak from your heart. We fully get it. We have another call in line here. Sis, you may have to mute your mic or your radio, or television, watch, lab, TV, tablet, whichever. I'm not sure you're using. And before you come on in here, the little feedback. Yes, you're live with us. Good night, Empress.
Hi, good night.
Yes, greetings.
I just want to point my 2 cents real quick, because both points that the people made, they're good points, right? But just going back to something else, the caliber or the kind of men that are staring now are not like the ones that were before. When I say that, I was raised by some strong men in terms of my grandfather, my father, my uncles and stuff. Now, in this generation, I realized that when a couple gets together, and I'm going to speak both, I'm not going to speak on what's wrong with the men only. I'm also going to include the women as well. Because when you say A, you have to say B. Now, a lot of people get into relationships. Mm-hmm. A man might be in it just for the fun. A woman might be in it just for the fun. But we all know that women are more emotional than men. So if a woman comes to you and is with you, I'm not sure about every woman, but she probably has that kind of attachment or connection to you. Good. Now, some of these men take it for granted. They might know that they're not interested in the female. Mm-hmm. Go and have relations with her, because I want to keep it as clean as I could. Have relations with her. They make a child, and then quick, so poof, he gone. Okay? Now, it's on that mother now to step up to the plate to raise her youth. Now, they have some men that even if you part or the family parts, the family is not together anymore, In the old time days, I can remember, well, if the men together no more, at least the mom might still step up and deal with the children.
Right.
Nowadays, now the men back, oh, that mine, or I went there, but and she went with this body and that body. Although you know that from the beginning, because this whole this generation running now a lot queer stuff. So when it end up now, she's by herself with a child raising. Obviously, there's going to be resentment and anger and frustration because if the father is not coming to chat, so be it. They also have a lot of dishonest women too. So I wanted to put in that part. You
Wow.
know that you got somebody and then you come and you go behind that body back and then you get yourself in a situation, you're going to go back and tell the man, well, you're going to keep your mouth shut about it till, as people will say, shit hit the fan. So then it got to come up, well, that might not be the man one or whatever the case is. So I just wanted to put in my 2 cents to say that I don't really think nothing is wrong with the men. I just think it's a generational thing that we as people, we need to look past this stuff and really deal and focus, as the gentleman say, on the family or so. But in terms of the other lady talking about the African stuff, and so I understand where she's coming from. But at this point, men need to step up because if you know you're not going to be ready to step up to the plate when you do something, steer from it. You know how I mean? Because
True.
that brings resentment. It brings all kind of thing. Because from the time that a gentleman gets a girl pregnant, or and let me say he gets her pregnant and he goes ahead and leaves her, it's only obvious she gonna be resentful. It's only obvious she gonna be angry. And I just want everybody from the call to know they say me, because I got 2 children and all 2 of the fathers in the life. So they say me I referring to. But I
Mhm.
just trying to say it's only obvious a lady would have resentment. You
For sure.
understand?
For
It's
sure.
for
For sure.
it's for the man to step up now. And even if you don't want to be with her, you know you produce that you come and step up to the plate, because a mother dealing with a child on its own, getting up, carrying it to school, well, getting it ready, carrying it to school, go work, go come back home, deal with the house, deal with the children, help with homework, and the father ain't present. You can't expect a woman to be happy all the time. That ain't make no sense. So
Serious.
let me just be real about that. So as I see it, is a generational thing, because for right now, these young people, they're not having people in the lives to train them, to tell them, or to bring them up to tell them, well, this is right and this is wrong. A lot of them getting to do as they like, so therefore they don't have the examples or the morals or anything, because they don't have no steady background. So a lot of the children can come up wayward, because when you in a one family home and you ain't saying your father might be out doing whatever the case is and ain't checking for you, then we gonna then raise children with anger and resentment too. You
That's
get what
right.
I'm saying?
That's right.
Because I got some men over that will come and get a woman pregnant, don't want to look at she, but go and get children from another woman. That child over there ain't getting no support, but he's saying the father, but he had a 2 or he had a 3, 6, whatever the case is. It's only obvious that child not gonna feel, well, look, he didn't want me, bum. Not knowing the situation was a messed up one, but still he could have stepped up to the plate. You get what I'm showing you? So
Mhm.
when people talk about resentment and these women angry, and of course women should be angry, because some of them just have to raise the youth by themselves without any help or any support, family, otherwise, whatever. Yes, I. So that's just my 2 cents on that. I don't really see nothing wrong with the men. I just think that everybody needs to get themselves in check, know
Mhm.
what's right from wrong, and do that. That's all I have to say.
Wow. Wow. Definitely want to thank you, sister. Empress, one of our familiar voices on politically incorrect calling, always dropping the science and dropping the knowledge. I like the fact she said that I don't think nothing's wrong with the men. I just think that people need to clean their act up. I like that because that's where we're going in terms of self healing. We all got to go into our hearts, look into our closets, and clean up yourself. Just deal with you. You know, there's some things that we might be doing that maybe we could probably do without doing. That goes for men and women. I have another call in line. Bless Britt. I think Britt, you may have to log out and come back in. I'm not seeing you connected here, but I see you coming up in the studio. Like I said, try to use Chrome browser, preferably. It works way better. Other browsers might give little glitches and stuff. So we'd love to have you on, but I can't accept you because it wouldn't allow me to. Say your connection isn't fully 100. So you can try it again. In the meantime, let's see what some comments are saying. Um, the comments are man, I thank you for the comments, family. They're enlightening, and questions are coming up about the relationship, man. Men do not need to connect with their feminine side. The ideology is what helped to create most of the issues we have now. I think that men have to be balanced in order to empathize with a woman, but yet be firm enough to be man and not succumb to that femininity and like the brother said, start thinking that you more woman than the woman, which is a whole different conversation. But yes, sister right here, we also need to stop withholding children from the fathers, but want money. Oh, we're not even going to touch that one right there. We're not even going to touch that one. That's a whole different program altogether. But again, a lot of these behaviors are stemming from people who are hurt, and hurt people will invariably continue to hurt people. That's just what it is. Mental illness is a really serious crisis right now in Barbados. A lot of people are mentally ill. Clearly, they walk in functioning, but they're mentally ill. Cognitive dissonance is indeed a psychological disorder, whether you like it or not. The idea of you knowing something is wrong, yet you tell yourself it is right because you don't want to accept that it's wrong because the truth is right in front of your face. It's too uncomfortable for you. You pretend that it's all right. There's an old African saying that says, when the hyena wants to eat its young, it first accuses them of smelling like goats. Mm-hmm. Antoinette said the cycle goes on. Thanks, Antoinette, for that one. The cycle does go on, and we need to start addressing this. We really need to start to put this in its proper perspective. And I totally agree with you on that one. Look, with the comments, man, I can't even keep up. Yeah, I can't even keep up. It's a reality though. I wrote one or two things there, and I said that I would touch on it in case no one brought it up. But and I agree with the sister that nothing wrong with the men. But one of the challenges that men have is men are not allowed to be weak. Think about it. A man is not allowed to be weak. When you're young, you're playing outside and you fall down and you get cut and you get up. That time now you scrape your knee on the Barbara Green and all the skin come off down to the little white meat. You can see it. After you see the white meat, you see the blood start to come out. So obviously you start to cry. And what they tell you, yo, stop crying, try and stop crying. And so, you're not allowed to show emotions like, you're not allowed to feel vulnerable or weak. And I think that's the biggest disservice that they teach men from young, that you ain't supposed to express how you feel. You should be allowed to express how you feel and be in tune with your emotional intelligence. But we are told now you gotta be hard, you gotta be hard. So in an effort to make men hard, some men become stoic and don't have no relationship, don't have no kind of emotion towards women. So we're not allowed to be emotional and express ourselves. So I think that's one of the biggest disservice that they do to men, not allowing men to express themselves. Yes, welcome to Politically Incorrect. You're here with us, Blessed Brit.
And express ourselves.
You might have to turn the microphone or the system in the back down while you're in the studio. But welcome, family.
All right, man.
Welcome, family. You're there with us? Yes,
That's
go ahead.
hear you, man.
Yes, it can hear you loud and clear.
Not getting
Hi, you're there?
Yeah, I just want to make sure you're not getting echo.
No, you're good to go now, Britt. Talk to us.
Right.
Welcome to Politically Incorrect.
I totally agree with the caller before.
Yes,
I
talk to
also
us.
don't
Speak,
believe
speak a
in
little louder. Speak a little louder, sis.
I get like a feedback.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Right. But I was saying that I totally everything that you just said just no right before I called. Those are things that I wanted to make a point of. But everything that the caller before said, I totally agree with. Like I honestly don't believe it's necessarily a case where something is wrong with the men today. I just think there's certain things that could be adjusted to make things better, you know? Because it's a case where I believe like for young um for young men didn't have the opportunity to have an identity. You understand? It was a case where an identity was always inflicted on them. They were always told that they have to be fighters, protectors, they have to be strong, they have to be fighters, and although these things are true, like telling telling a young boy this from the time he's young, it creates this fighter mentality. And although is I won't necessarily say that is negative, you know, it's just a case where men always had to do. They always had to do as they should. But it's like for them to feel loved or for them to receive love, they always felt like they had to do something to get love. Whether it's them doing things for their mother at home to get love, or going out their way for people at school. It's a case where men always feel like they have to do something to feel loved and be loved. There is
True.
not a case where it's like women like they're just existing and they get love effortlessly. Like men always as you were saying, it's a case where they can't just express their emotions and be
Mhm.
heard for who they are. Like if a man expresses his feelings and his like we say depression and sadness or anything that people will consider low vibrational, they'll be judged and frowned upon because like what you feeling out there, like a man just toughen up, like wipe your tears, you don't need to be praying. And
You're there with us, caller?
yeah, for me it's a case where a lot of men weren't able to like have genuine feelings
Hmm. I agree.
because everything they had to do, they had to fight or battle for. Hence, where a lot of men they turn to violence and crime because they're looking for a way out. They're looking, they're looking to provide for the family the best they can, and they turn to negative ways because it's like they feel like they're not being supported, but they have to support everybody. You know, and looking at it from this standpoint, I feel like it somewhat seems like there's a lot of pressure on men, especially young men from young. Um, that's what tend to lead them to live in this toxic masculinity phase, or like to be so angry and so violent and so aggressive.
Well, you said something about toxic masculinity, and I'm going to touch that in a minute. It's going to be quite interesting.
Hmm.
Well, Britt, I want to thank you for calling and sharing your thoughts with us. Um,
Yeah,
Greatly appreciated. And I think the gist of what you're saying is that man must be balanced and allowed to be able to express himself in a natural way. Yeah?
yeah. I
Well,
don't know
thank
what's the
you.
problem, but again, like a feedback is like echoing on my part.
That's, well, that happens if there's another device in the same space. Um, like I said, there's a delay within the system in terms of when you speak with me and
All
when it
right, so
comes
I
through.
can leave and I can just join the comment session.
All right. Well, thanks again for coming in, sis. Appreciate you.
Thank you for
Appreciate.
having me. Love the vibes.
Yes, yes. Love yours too, family. Yes, family. I mean, oh man, man. It's about balance. His sister mentioned some of masculinity, right? And toxic masculinity. And somebody else mentioned about narcissists. I want to say this, right? What is a man? What is a man? What is the role of a man? What is a man supposed to be like? We live in a society now where we get our definitions from social media, from Hollywood, and from broadcasting radio programs for the most part, daytime shows, soap operas. Let's look at the African man. What is an African man? I don't even think an African woman, a black woman, have any idea what an African man is supposed to be like. Think about it. You're coming on the other side of a emotional experience that was traumatic for centuries, that took us away from what was naturally ourselves and put us in a colonial system that was based on quote unquote Christian principles, although they never quote unquote adhere to and follow these principles. It's a complete contradiction. So when we talk toxic masculinity, a man that is firm, refuse to be pushed over, like my brother Brian said, he's not effeminate. He may be in tune with his feminine side because he does have both elements, but he doesn't function effeminate. And there's a difference, a big difference. So when man is man and strong, sometimes we mislabel each other based on what social media tells us. But how would we know a man in 2023 unless we had the experience and have the knowledge of what a man should and ought not to be like? Of course, narcissist is a different conversation. That goes for men and women, although women don't want to admit that they can be narcissists too. But it's not about finger pointing. It's about healing people. If hurt people, imagine what healing does. Someone is trying to get in the studio. I see you trying to get in. I suspect you're having the same challenge. It might be that you're using a different browser. Try using Chrome browser. It works better. Or the WhatsApp number is 246-838-8253. I'm trying to keep up with the comments. I cannot keep up. I can't keep up. Man, men have poor diets, affects their health. I totally agree. I see some men now. I always encourage men to work out. I tell people, well, at my stage, at my age, it says device not connected. Big Pain, I see you trying to get in. I want you to come on in. You might got to try using a Chrome browser. Maybe opening it in Chrome. If not, calling on the number. It's a WhatsApp number, and feel free to share your thoughts with us tonight. The men aren't supposed to be weak. Trying to raise a male on her own. Well, again, the idea of what man ought to be, like I said, this goes back for the plantocracy, how they would try to effeminize the males, emasculate them, and keep them where they're, you don't need no man. Like your brother said, you only need a baby because the system wants you to produce babies. They don't want you to produce men who become males who become men, because men are warriors. Men going to protect, men going to take care. A lot of the problems you see right now, like for example, the fact that they could creep into your house, even via the television and through the school, and take your children from you, enter an environment where they want to teach them other things other than values that you hold to at home, it's because there's no man at home. There's no man warrior at home. There's no what they call toxic masculinity at home. It's not toxic. It is manly. But we as a society have gotten so far away from what man is that we don't even recognize man no more. And the minute the man shows up, oh, he's toxic. Toxic. I got kicked out of QEH last night. Another story. I guess I was being too toxic because I asked questions. I refused to let you pee on my leg and call it rain. But I do understand the environment. I do understand the circumstances, but it gives nobody the chance or permission to be disrespectful towards anybody. It doesn't work like that, so we all have accountability, and we should always be accountable for ourselves regardless of the circumstances. Big Pain, I see you. I want you to come on in. But your browser ain't clicking. Your browser not clicking, so you're gonna have to try again. Could you answer caller whatever these men are raised by women? Hold on. Could you answer that caller whether these men are raised by women? I'm not sure which caller is that. I guess you meant the brother called, the only brother that called in, I guess. And the question what you asked. Men need to start consuming so much alcohol that weakens them in many ways, allow them to be taken advantage of in the household, or put their jobs at risk. I agree. Shorten their lives and even left abandoned by their spouse and children and other family members. At that stage, they are only good enough for money or assets. Men, please wise up. Spoken like a brother who cares. Brotherhood is real, family, and we are a brother's keeper, and we should hold each other accountable, whether or not the brother is aware of his disorder. I think I said that cleverly enough to make sense to brothers who know and understand. You have a fiduciary right to look out for your brother, regardless to his standing in society. It's just brotherly love. Some guys are disconnected from their emotions and will not be productive in a relationship. That's just a fact. It's a fact. We get a lot of advice here tonight, why the phrase toxic masculinity? Nothing toxic about masculinity. Sounds like an LGBT rhetoric. Again, we have our opinions and we may see it differently, but I ask the question, what is a man? What is a black man? What is a black man supposed to be like? What is a king supposed to be like? You know, what is your vision of a king? Who do you look at when you think of man and king? Who do you look towards? Christians might say Jesus. Well, Jesus flipped the table. He was a bit aggressive. He told the church to go buy a sword. Yes, he said to go buy a sword. You could interpret that like he meant Bible all you like. He didn't say Bible. As a matter of fact, let me just put it in perspective. When he told his disciples back then to go get a sword, he wasn't talking to you. He was talking to them. So he knew what he meant when he said what he said, when he meant what he said. Go get a sword. In this day and age, you're going to need it as a man to defend your family. In Jesus' name. I got to say that, man. You know, so don't come telling me, oh, he meant the Old and New Testament. No, he didn't. He definitely didn't mean that. If he means that today on the plantation, because the preacher told you that. But when he said it, he didn't mean that. A man ought to have a right and a way to defend his family. A right and a way to defend his family. You can't pray a burglar or an intruder away. Sometimes you got to speak the intruder language. Testing. Ooh, that gonna miss people. Anyhow, family, the brother's trying to call in. Can't. Anyhow, like I said, the line is open, 246-838-8253. This thing with the school, true, like I said, I'll save my comments for the end of the program. Are men allowed to ask for help? Is the question. Are men allowed to ask for help? Is the question. That's the question. Are men allowed to ask for help? Right now, I think our households are crying out. I think the children who are vulnerable are crying out. I think the men themselves, in some cases, are crying out. And therefore, we have a responsibility as men to build a hedge around each other and strengthen each other with comforting words, encouraging words, uplifting words. We could. Most men don't know their worth. You see that? That's a fact. We could dance around it all we like. A lot of men don't know their true value. Sister, you are absolutely correct. So what is wrong with the men? I could surmise and say men don't know their value. Right now in society, a man is like priceless, invaluable, because in light of what is going on in and out the homes, the man's role is critical, very critical at this time, and equally more important at this time. The females, the mothers, the aunties, the grannies, they've been there. They've been there all along, carrying it all along. Right now, the men, like the prodigal son, need to return home. Need to return home. Know your worth. Look in the mirror. Recognize you have value. Recognize that the system can't marginalize you based on degrees or not having degrees. You, by virtue of just being a man, you are in high demand. Hence, that makes you demand. Yeah, man. Serious, man. Men don't seem to be allowed to ask for help. It's like a man got to go through some stuff in silence. I recently went to a government establishment and had an interaction with a brother working. I won't even identify the place and the location, but the brother had on nail polish. I don't suppose there's nothing wrong with that, I guess. I mean, not my thing. It might be his thing, but I went to ask the brother a question, a simple question. This brother had a meltdown. I mean, he just went off on the tandem, and I was like trying to ask a question. And I mean, for lack of a better word, it was a hissy fit, really. I mean, he was, I'm thinking, the brother was crying out for help, man. because men don't function like that. Men do not function like that. That is not what men do. Men don't function like that. So I said it to say that a lot of our brothers are struggling with mental issues, a lot of mental issues, whether directly or indirectly related to some lifestyle or some way of life. I'm not even here to question that. I'm simply saying that our brothers need help, man, and we need to help each other. We got to learn our worth. You got to know our value. You got to know the knowledge of yourself, who you truly are. I mean, a lot of good brothers in Barbados. I met a whole lot the other day at a function I attended. There are a lot of good people in Barbados just needing direction. And direction is all that's needed. We have another caller in line here. Welcome to Politically Incorrect. Good night. You're on the air.
Politically Incorrect family?
Yes. Good night, brother.
This is the same big pen I was trying to get on, but I had to mess up with the microphone and stuff like that, so don't let me get back in.
Okay. Well, thanks for trying again, and welcome to Politically Incorrect.
Yeah. My 2 cents. Man, how put this in? We went back to slavery, right? But men were manipulated before even slavery. If you go back to the creation story, remember, woman manipulated man but apple, according to creation story. Right? And then from then it's like manipulation all the time. Women is usually mostly control the men. You might find some men that are strong to resist the control. And then in saying that too, some men come up in families where they see certain things, as a youngster, abuse in families and stuff like that. So, and they turn out the way they turn out. They got other men like me that grew up with my grandparents instill morals and stuff in me there. So I don't know how to put this, man.
Put it in English.
It's just a big difference in how you were taught, or how your grandparents or your parents pretty much raised you as a male child. Okay? Knows to use the word male child. Right. My grandfather was pretty much my father figure. My father was there, yes, but he didn't live with us, so my grandfather was my father figure. My grandfather and my grandmother had over 50 years of marriage before he died. They were together, they used to work with stuff and things. So, and, seeing that I started a relationship, becoming a young man and stuff like that, that was something that I wanted for myself. Even to the point where I was in a relationship with a female, she had a kid, a son, and the father wasn't there. So I always just remember my grandfather said, the children didn't have to be here.
True.
You know what I mean? And if you got the opportunity to bless a child, your blessing can come out to you at some point. You got where I'm coming from?
I agree.
I think a father figure post pretty much, make sure they got food, make sure your child in school and everything, school clothes, all kind of stuff like that. So, but what's happened? It's like the male in the relationship now, or the child father, can see these things, then he can talk back. You know what I mean? I don't know when I'm in the relationship before, or what the case may be, but pretty much he can come back now and try to make back his mark to show you that you don't say nothing.
Well, let me ask you a question, caller. You raise a point because men provide, well, like you said, food and help with school work and provide certain things, Because money is important in a relationship, especially with children. I think one of the greatest values that is overlooked, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong, would you say that the man's presence, even if he can provide monetarily for the children, is also equally as important?
Yeah, for sure. because you gotta pretty much, if you're dealing with male children, you gotta pretty much raise a male child how to be a proper man, pretty much.
True.
You know what I mean? Some mothers might be able to do it, some might not. You know, I ain't bashing the women because, you know, they got some women that holding it down on the one and stuff like that. So, and then they got some children turn out pretty good. You know what I mean? But then you got a strong father figure there. You know, I ain't talking about somebody to like beat and abuse children. Let me just talk to them. You know, to show them life in the early. Let you know what life is all about, what you expect when you get older and stuff like that. So that, you know, pretty much you got a good idea how this thing going, because without that sort of knowledge, you know, from somebody that I would say positive, I don't see you having really a positive outlook on life and relationships and stuff like that. So, you know what I mean?
Well, I think that the outlook a man has is going, like you said, based on what he was taught and who guided him. You said your father was there, but your grandfather really was the influencer. And think about it, the grandfathers that I know were all manly grandfathers. They were strong men, that hardworking men that produced and created a lot for the family.
That is true.
You know, so that's the mindset we got to start looking at, is to restore that father figure, that manly figure, that provider, that caretaker, that man who is balanced and not biased towards women or anyone else, you know. And that's what's necessary in this day and age. We got to know the value of the men in our world, in our society. There's a lot of good men in Barbados, a lot of good men. And the reality is, it's time that the men start stepping up on a different level. We can't allow this thing to take over the nation and corrupt our children and destroy our families, because the family institution is the only battlefront we have left to protect. So we have to protect it at all costs. At all costs.
Another thing too, relationship wise, right? As a match, you're looking for somebody, but pretty much you want to find somebody that pretty much carrying the same energy level as you. You know what I mean? Thinking the same type of way, got the same progressive thoughts as you and stuff like that. So eventually it ain't gonna work. You know what I mean? Because if you're trying to progress, and you got somebody that ain't trying to progress with you, that holding you back, you can't get nowhere.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So you can either God know when to hold them and when to fold them, and pull a pine call or something and try something different.
I like that.
Or you be like a tractor sticking mud that you be spinning, you don't get nowhere, buddy.
Well, you know what? I thank you for calling and sharing that. I thank you for calling and sharing that. Much appreciated. Very interesting. Give us a final thought there, caller.
A final thought? What to say, eh? We got a lot in Barbados to deal with.
True.
A lot of different influences and things that coming in now. You know, some people, you know, for it, some people against it. You know what I mean? At least I would say the sensible people against it, they're just my belief. You know? But it is there, and then when you see these things there, so people telling you that it ain't true. You seen it for yourself, you know.
Right.
And the first thing people can tell you is that it ain't true. There ain't no such thing going on. But then when it happens, everything gone quiet. When everything comes to light.
Gone quiet. You notice it. Very quiet.
Sweep under the rug. Some distraction come up. And everybody forget about it. At least some people. Not everybody.
True.
Some people just forget about it.
True.
You know what I mean? But the problem's still there.
Well, I
so that's just like that you ain't trying to get better. You just trying to treat it eventually it can get infected and overtake everything.
True.
Make you sick.
True.
You know what I mean?
So true.
So we got a lot to deal with. And I don't know how we can do it because a lot of people ain't coming together. You know, you got a couple people in the same mindset saying, all right, we can try to do this thing. You got people saying, man, yeah, but they ain't gonna turn up. So unless you got the numbers, you ain't really getting away because somebody ain't gonna want to take you serious. You understand? The other side got them numbers.
Oh yeah, clearly.
You got a battle there, so and if everybody ain't coming together, we got a serious. In fact, ain't really gonna be a serious fight. You can just lose. So it can take people coming together on a serious level to deal with these things, and just not talking about it or typing about it. You know, coming together and handling it.
I agree. I totally agree. All right, thank you, caller, for calling in. Much appreciated.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, have a good night. The caller touch on two things I want to bring up real quick. This is going to be a whole different conversation. I don't know if we have the time for it. Oh man, he touched. Well, I wanted to throw it out there. So let me just put this out there, man. So men, let me ask the men a question. And the women too. So what the caller kind of implied in his last closing remark was that if a man does not choose the right woman, she's not going to build him up. She's going to be tearing him down. Is it important for a man to choose the right type, of woman to be with? Does that make a role? Does that play a role in him being built up or torn down? Are women even aware that they have the ability to help build or tear down a man? And also, can a woman, a mother, raise a young boy, a young man to be a man? These are questions, family, that because we have a lot of males in the society. We don't debate that, but we also have a lot of good men. You can see that. But why is this manliness not across the board? Where in the equation of life are we missing the variable? And where do we have to put the X versus the Y to equal what it's supposed to be? We got too many, this algebra equation, there's too many X's in this. We need to put a Y back in this equation, family, to get the outcome we're looking for. How do we do this, family? How do we do this? Ay. Religion played a role or impacted men in specific ways that not being who society may want them to be. Well, have the Bible played that role? That's an interesting question, Brother Wayne. It's an interesting question. Have the Bible played a role? It's funny. In the Bible, almost all the men are manly. They protect their family. They're warriors. They go get it. They had multiple wives in most cases. I ain't touching that too much right now. But that's the Bible. What do I know? What do I know? Well, the feed is still up, Wayne. I don't know if you're catching us back here, Wayne, but we're still here. I'm not sure if anybody else has lost the feed, but it's here. Boy, the comments, man. Behind every successful man lies a good woman. I want to change that word there, sis, from the word behind to next to, because we ought to keep our woman by our sides. Not behind. If she's behind us, because if the woman is ever behind the man, because he's facing the danger first and not her. Otherwise, be side by side walking this thing, man. Walk the walk, man. Balance it like a scale. No, a mother cannot raise. I got it. This is interesting. No, a mother cannot raise a young boy into a man. Whoa, a whole other conversation. We're gonna get into the next conversation is family, and we're gonna address some of these same issues because, like I said, the only reason why they could pull look, Kirk Humphrey, what minister name is, whatever his guy is. I thought he was as a matter of fact, I was on the impression he was a minister. He was a preacher. I was on the impression that this is he's an ordained minister. I could be wrong. Kurt Humphrey's supposed to be an ordained minister. I don't know. I was on the impression he used to be a pastor. I don't understand the term used to be a pastor though. Like I used to be a preacher, or used to be a reverend, or used to be an apostle. I don't. The term that's like saying a bird used to be a bird. I mean, it's not a bird anymore. Why haven't they clipped one of the wings? I don't. Once a pastor or once a man of God should always be a man of God, unless you change gods. I just, in which case, it would explain why he can get up there and speak and read that document like that. Family, listen, man. All I'm saying is, if the government, let me phrase it, let me put it in its proper perspective. Let me use the right language. If the administrators of the corporation known as Barbados, who function as your government that you have elected to govern you and control your mind, felt that there was a danger to themselves in making certain decisions that were diametrically opposite to you, they would never make them. If politicians knew for a fact that we the people would be at their door the evening they come home from Parliament, Mr. Humphrey, yeah, let me have a word with you. Because most of these politicians who represent a constituency do not live within that constituency. So it had to be another brother in another constituency where they reside to knock on their door and say, look here, man, what's that foolishness said this in Parliament? What is that? That would be a problem. If they felt that that was even remotely a possibility, not a threat, because I'm not threatening any politician on live, or I'm not threatening any politician, period, whether live or otherwise. Let me just make that clear. I'm simply saying, if they felt there was a danger to themselves in offending you in an offensive way, or attacking you, or attacking your house, or even worse, trying to corrupt the minds of your children against your will, if they felt that was a danger, they would never do that. The reason why they're so comfortable, because they're comfortable. They're real comfortable. They're very comfortable. Let me stop. Listen, man. Family, all I'm saying, right? As far as I'm concerned, I support anybody who's going to go out there and make a stance. I support that altogether. What I'm saying, however, in addition to that, we need to channel our energies in a more productive way. And productive, I mean, I'm not asking the oppressor to no longer grant me comfortability with the oppression. I'm saying we need to get what is ours and build our own. Build our own, so we don't have to worry about that madness, because then we were able to govern ourselves accordingly. You're governed by consent. So if you don't like the way you're being governed, like what the ministers are doing, just stop consenting to being governed. Don't ask the minister to change his mind. It wasn't his mind in the first place. Mr. Humphrey did not write that bill. He knows nothing about writing a bill for children. I mean, how could he? He is a puppet, and somebody else have their hand up the puppet. Straight up. That's just the reality. So how you going to ask the puppet on the pantomime to stop performing the script that he's performing? You got to talk to the puppet master. And the puppet master, well, is that you can talk to the puppet master to change the pantomime, or stop going to the pantomime. Just saying. Just saying, family. And in the long talk with that whole thing no more, man. I know that folks ain't going to like that, but that's a reality. As a matter of fact, let me go a little step further. There's such a thing as organized chaos. There is such a thing as organized chaos. I even heard a voice note about somebody said they're going to, if they touch a particular man, they're going to tear down the place, man. Like, whoa. What? That's funny, because I ain't hearing a voice note saying if you trouble the children, we going, If you continue to pull up the herd, we're gonna burn down the cane field. Soldier helicopter, search for marijuana. I ain't hear nobody saying if you trouble the children, gonna be problems. If Barbados felt right that by attacking our children was going to be a threat, and they felt that was going to be a threat, like for example, to the tourist industry, they would never do that. You know why they're so comfortable? Anyhow, let me leave that one right there. Family, what time is it? Whoa. Every time you get away so fast, I didn't realize, family. Give thanks for those coming on and sharing tonight. We have one more caller. Anybody else want to call in and give us a thoughts before we go out here? What's wrong with the men in Barbados? The men in Barbados need to know their worth, know your value, know yourself. It's time to return and fix these homes, family. Yeah, man. There's plenty of homes in Barbados need a man. Women looking for men, good men, like the army, looking for a few good men. Will the real men please stand up? Will the real men please stand up? You know what I mean? And the traditional way cannot be the European way. So the men need to come out and protect the children. Jackie, I think the men need to go in. I think the men outside ever since, man. They've been out the houses, been out the homes. It's time to return home, family. We're not protecting our children when we out in the streets. We're protecting them when we protect the homes. Stop sending your children to these institutions and begging the institution to stop brainwashing your child with whatever new curriculum idea they have. They've been brainwashing the children long before SpongeBob and the men with nail polish. Yes, I said it long before. This whole gay agenda been going on long before. All that talk about like your children gonna watch TV while you were there on the phone, or you on your cell phone chatting, or you gossiping somebody's name. All that time the children watching Nickelodeon and net what the kids, whatever it is. The cartoons and whatnot been had connotations programming the children. The seeds already in the children, the seeds been set. What they're looking to do now is nurture those seeds and let them grow. The seeds already been planted, family. This thing, we way behind enemy lines with this thing, man. So rather than ask them to pull it back, it been out, it been gone. Let us find ways to support and grow our own and build our own environment that we can produce and raise our children in the way they need to be raised accordingly. Find a way to help each other. You know what I mean? Simple as that. Simple as that. There's no other two ways about it. Like the vaccine, like the COVID test, like all the other things before that came before that everybody was arguing about. Did they not find a way to do it? They found a way to do it. They mandate the vaccine. They got the employees of the businesses to force you to get it. Otherwise, you can't come work. They threaten your livelihood. They threaten your way of life. They threaten you economically. They threaten you with economics, man. Nah, family. Enough is enough. We ain't got no long talk. We ain't asking Humphrey nothing. Humphrey doing what he was paid to do. He can't even he can't even explain what I built. Look, man. If Mr. Humphrey is a former minister of God, clearly the question is which God he ministering for here. Don't get tight with this thing, family. Like they had what St. Mary's Parish Church. St. Mary's Parish Church, second night, the night of the full moon. They had a whole gala in Queen. They had a whole gala in St. Mary's Parish Church graveyard. Now I happened to be passing by and I saw the platform. They had the platforms all put up between the graves and stuff, all on top of the graves, all across the graves, platform with chairs and tents and lights and stage and people performing in the graveyard, family, on the night of the full moon, the night of the 3rd, on the 3rd of June, on the full moon. Go look up occult science and go look up the significance. Go listen. Go Google this. The significance of the full moon on June 3rd in the occult world. Go look that up. See what you come up with. They had a gala in the graveyard. Yeah, right here in Barbados. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. Kurt Humphrey has no say in what's going on. He is merely a puppet. Merely that at best. Pinocchio got more strength than him. At least when Pinocchio lying, you could tell. I suppose it's the same with politicians. They talking. Nevertheless, family, me out of here, man. Yeah, ta-da. Guess who's Bezak? Yeah, that's all right, man. Y'all could do whatever y'all do where y'all like, man. Don't matter, man. We know what time it is. They call it Jazz in the Graveyard. I didn't even know it had a name. They call it Jazz in the Graveyard. Jazz in the Graveyard. The first place I ever heard that name was in the scripture a place called Jazibel. Jazibel. Anyhow, maybe there's no relationship. I don't know. Anyhow, family, I give thanks to all y'all that, stay tuned, that stay truly faithful to Politically Incorrect, that tune in, when we come on this thing live. And yeah, make it happen. We're going to find a way to take this a whole nother level, family. That's the bottom line. I see a brother here trying to call in again. All right, we can take one for the road, man. We can take one for the road. Hold on a second. Yes, caller, you're on the air. Welcome to Politically Incorrect.
Yeah, it's me again.
Yes, brother.
The question was about good men in Barbados. There are actually good men in Barbados that know their worth. The issue is you come across these women, or some women, like I say all, some women that claim they're looking for a good man, but they're emotionally scared and they bring that to the relationship. And if you as a man that know your worth, pretty much you want things to work and you're looking for peace. When they're in peace in the relationship, you can got problems all the time. So if they ain't healing on the part of the person that you might be trying to uplift, you know what I mean? It still can't work.
Serious.
It ain't gonna work.
Serious.
And that just my short 2 cents there.
All right, give thanks, my brother. Give thanks. Your brother brought a valid point to the table. He said a lot of good men that know their worth in Barbados. The problem is they meet women who are emotionally scarred, and therefore they bring that baggage to the relationship. But I gonna tell you this. I don't doubt that. I think both men and women are emotionally scarred on different levels. But when the good man is concerned, a good man is one, the Bible says, leaves an inheritance for his children and his children's children. A man that is that good or that godly, if he meets a woman that is scarred, will know how to help her alleviate that baggage. Like, sis, let me take that bag from you, man. A good man, when he sees a woman carrying a load, will help her ease that pressure. Let me carry them bags for you, sis. A good man is so strong, he would carry her and the bags comfortably. Start to help her compartmentalize what she needs to keep and not keep. Show her a whole different reality. A good man will take a woman who is damaged and help her heal by creating an environment where she could be herself and not feel judged, where she could be in tune with herself and recognize her own value, her own worth. Okay, I'm not saying they may not have moments, but a good man like God is patient. and long suffering, and allows her the time to recognize that maybe there's some things with herself that she might have to let go. A good man will shine some light, not too much, but enough light that she can recognize the errors of her way. A good man will indeed help heal a hurt woman. Family, I going to say this, thank you for sharing. That's my 98 cents out of the two, along with everybody else contributions. We make up this whole, and yeah, a good man will try to help. See, I ain't even got it. See, I ain't even look. A good man will try. A good man ain't trying, Brian. We know how to get it done, Brian. We know how to heal. We know how to heal. We know how to heal. Here's the best part. You'll recognize when a good man helps to heal a woman, she then turns around and recognizes things in that good man that he may not even know exists, and help even heal him, make him whole, make him a better man than how he was before. Yeah, the woman have the ability to see any crevices that you don't even know exist, things that you might have as trauma that you so manly about, you don't even recognize that you've been living with that load on your back. She would tap you gently and say, honey, let me ease that off your shoulder for you. A good woman, once she is healed, would know how to nurture a man into being a right man, a stronger man, a godly man. Adam and Eve, well, women do manipulate men, but men do manipulate women too. I suppose is, a thing. Let us heal each other and grow together. Yeah? Let me do that, family. Let me grow in love, man. Love and unity, man. Love and unity. Love and unity. A good man will ease the load. Wait, you got some experience. Shine some light and help her heal. Wait, well, look, if I know any better, I would think I was reading your mind. Family, look, it's been a great conversation. I give thanks. We all thankful. Thanks for everyone that called in and shared. Those who watching this live, don't forget to like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. The page YouTube has grown amazing. Thanks for the folks on the Facebook page, Politically Incorrect. I don't know how it's more followers, and those who like is like 5 times now. It's crazy. I can't even. But anyhow, I thank y'all for all the support y'all give. And listen, tell a friend to tell a friend. And that's how we're going to make this thing happen, family, because the only thing they have us on is that they have resources to push their agenda faster. But guess what? The race is not for the swift. No, sorry. It's for those who endure, family. This conversation is food for the soul, man, the divine spirit. Guess what? I'm stirring the pot. Light marinate, family. Light marinate, family. Maria, thank you for sharing your thoughts as well and looking out for your nephews. That's a wonderful thing you're doing. Upward and onward from here, family. Yeah, keep sharing, family. Keep sharing. Tell a friend, family. We're doing our part. You have to do your part. Show it to the Fade family and what's going on. And the growth, yes, growth is what's necessary for anything. And it may come smooth, it may come rough, but once it is growth, that's what matters most, yeah? Family, having said that, I have a tune. I got a tune. I ain't played this one in a little while though. This one I ain't had this one hidden in a minute. So I'm gonna drop this one tonight. Where is it? Let me go and share this real quick. There you go. Is this the one? Yeah. Yes, this the one. Let me go and share this. Wait, let me put it on pause for a second. Let me put it from the beginning, family, because I want this to come through loud and clear. Yes. Add it to the stream. Junior X, family. Junior X. But before I get into Junior X, let me see what this. We had to make a hard decision to ensure that their offspring survive. Now it is time for men to stand up and fight that is needed to establish independence. I think I'm going to say for all of us, this is necessary. This is necessary. And the stand up, by the way, doesn't mean you out there just in the street protesting. Yes, perhaps there's a place for that still. But what is necessary is man get up, not just knowing your worth and recognize what is necessary at this hour. We at the 11th hour. We at the precipice of what they call a great change or whatever reset or whatever they call it. We have to govern our homes, but we first start by governing ourselves. Man, woman, know thyself. It is that time. This is no longer the Middle Passage story that they tell us. This is time to heal and restore divine order. Bottom line.
This is ZTE TV. Welcome, my name is Jamie Morgan. This episode topic is slavery. Was it really that bad? And we're here today with our special guest, international
Always tell us about
reggae
slavery.
artist Junior X. And we're here to get his take on the topic.
Babylon is a dot.
Small acts. Don't believe the hype, family. Our story didn't start with slavery. We royal way before that.
You did it.
Don't let them lie to you, family.
You did it. Why do you hate the black race so much?
We were great long before the slave ship.
They took us from Africa into the Caribbean. They took us for granted.
We've been here long before they
They
came,
took us for
family.
granted.
Long before they came, man.
They took us from Africa into the Caribbean. They took this advantage.
Trying to restore our legacy, family. Trying to restore the legacy.
Started in the motherland, if you never know. But how we brother them sell out, we black brother do. It wasn't for silver, wasn't for gold. Fabric and ammunition make them sell them soul. We can't believe it's so hard for grasp. Every time that I reflect on the past, the black race bar turned into slavery, changing the course of our history. They took us from Africa into the Caribbean. They took us for granted. They took us for granted. They took us from Africa into the Caribbean. They took this advantage. They took this advantage. The middle pass, it's still a tale for those black Africans with them that's overboard. Me can't forget the case I never close. In a me heart is like an overload. So we go tell England, say reparation. What about the mule? What about the 40 acres of land?
What about it, family? What about
Prison
it?
time and deportation is all we face.
What about it, family? You see, they think that we don't know. They think we don't know. But they could talk what they want to talk, do what they want to do. Our story did not start on a ship. We know they took us, some of us anyhow, because a lot of us were already here in the Caribbean, one family. But at this junction in the game, at this point, and y'all going after the children, yes, folks are going to come out, folks are going to stand, and folks are going to protest, and folks are going to walk. But guess what, though? You see the rest of us? See the rest of us?
Yes, Rasta. All them black people that belong to Africa.
Send a message, man.
So we are going to keep the Gideon hot.
Let me tell you. What the rest of us going to do? Want some march? Want some protest? Wave flags? Now you want to stop it? That's what the rest of us going to do, hey?
Angola.
Calling on the ancestors, man.
Angola.
Calling on the ancestors.
From Africa, Angola. Angola.
Yes.
Angola.
Breaker.
Angola.
Breaker.
Shamalang.
Everything is in place.
Angola. Me burn the fire from Babylon. Not take no chat from Babylon.
No chat.
As a youth corrupt, the ghetto youths, we don't know where that, don't know Babylon.
Yes.
When me walk, I trample down Babylon.
Wait. Because I know that sometimes when they don't get
Yes, Rasta.
Yes,
all
Rasta.
Black people that belong to Africa. So we're
Look at all the freedom fighters, man. Come on,
Yeah.
we fight. So the march we do is to the battlefield. So the march we do is to the battlefield. Listen, know this.
Hey, Angola.
Yes.
Angola. Upon my African
Fire.
Angola.
It was a full moon indeed.
Angola.
We're having a jazz session now in the graveyard.
Angola.
We call forward all the ancestors.
Angola. Me burn the fire from Babylon.
Yes.
Not take no chat from Babylon.
Mr. Humphrey.
Cause a youth corrupt, you get a youth with the wicked dog. Who know Babylon?
Judgment.
When me walk, I trample down Babylon. Talk and ride down Babylon. Who know what ways they are with your clans and plans. Walk up trapping the man. Nothing come no can come take from Africa. From we again. No one no can come take from Africa. From we again. Who no think who no can come take from Africa.
You don't want to come to better people with your enslavement.
No one no can come take from Africa. From we again. True religion, you bang down a Lebanon.
Yes.
Pick yourself and a blame Afghanistan. We do no tricks and cons. Implement a plan. Then you go dig down Saddam. We see you a draw nearer and nearer. But the Isle mama got now go share ya.
Listen.
Oh, me now
Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed. It was destroyed.
You no can come take from Africa. From we again. Who no think who no can come take from
All that means is time for destruction, family. You're writing on the wall, family. Don't say you don't see it.
From Africa, from we again.
The verse has a way of hitting us. But we don't protect the earth will protect itself.
Them no like when we are in the hills.
Fire.
Them when we stay up to pay them bills. When you think say you're safe, you are safe, little cabbage. Them alone account off the mills. It's an authentic reggae beat.
Yes.
Let me skank off these shoes off of my feet.
Yes.
I get 3 Peter touch, 2 Bob Marley, and the little berry sound sweet. You no can come take from Africa, from we again. You no think you no can come take from Africa, from we again. No, you no can come take from Africa, from we again. You no think you no can come take from Africa, from we again. So the bingy man a call Angola, from Africa, Angola, Angola.
I know that kind of stuff there, right? I heard all that stuff, you know? I know he didn't know just do that. Did he just do that? Yeah. I know he just did that, man. He just put that tune on. Mr. Humphrey got a message for you, man. Listen carefully.
A word unto the wise is enough.
Back.
You can look but don't touch.
Back.
My relations and such. Cause out here in this jungle we roam.
Yo, in the jungle, bro.
Every king has his throne.
Every king has a throne.
And if you enter my soul,
you done enter the zone now.
About to protect my.
Let me pull out from the top, man. You know when I'm hard of hearing, right? And slow to learning. I know when I'm hard of hearing and slow to learn. I got the mic in my hand, making sure you can hear me loud and clear, man. Look, link in the comments, brother. Put it in your car, put it in your cell phone. Listen, how people will listen to this spoken, brother. Let us in Parliament, man. More exclusive, right? Message to the whole parliamentarian, man.
A word unto the wise is enough.
Yes.
You can look but don't touch my relations and such.
And it's the last first Empress was.
Cause out here in this jungle we roam.
One perfect balance.
Every king has his throne.
One balance.
And if you enter my soul, I vow to protect my own.
We vow to protect our own family.
Protect my own.
We vow.
I will protect my own.
Man, man with the one knee down, the one knee up, man. Trying to restore the order, man.
Bread basket from birth to the casket of birth. They've been talking some words.
Trying to restore divine order.
I was brought up and taught up the tactics and learned that the lion not turn.
The compass and the square got to be accurate.
Watch who you burn, who you spark.
Accurate.
You have to go earn if you want it. So we no concerned with who hawking. When them spit can reach.
You in the lodge and you crooked.
Enemies in disguise wanna see.
You in the lodge and you bandy.
He realize John no wrong.
Your brothers and sisters can't tell you nothing.
In life you achieve something.
Blind leading the blind.
Achieve something twice.
Blind leading the blind.
Then you can imagine what I felt.
At least Selassie the first, man.
Then another on the way. Plus I have another in the brain. And every other one I put the other one to.
Listen though.
A word unto the wise is enough.
You're supposed to be a wise man, right?
You can look but don't touch.
You're supposed to be a wise man, right?
Separations and stuff.
Right on the wall, family.
Cause out here in this jungle we roll.
It's in a handshake time, family.
King as his
You can't shake nobody's hand again to this kingdom.
Enter my soul.
Your heart have to be pure.
About to protect my own.
Raise your vibration, family.
My own.
Divine order run things, family.
Protect my own.
Yeah. Sharp like the ton crown pan Christ's head. But you know the flow hard door like sliced bread. Lyrics melt the butter fi make a nice spread. But I know margarine, I pull the margin in and stretch the margin out. And if you margin out and you win a doubt, you march without me. I'd rather march alone than be march back home. Tell me queens and
we lost the throne.
No, this was built on the power and the truth. Discovering the cowards and empowering the youths. If you give them a minute, them devouring the fruit. And within an hour, call it sour choppy root, you know. See it, no skill like BB on my feet. But drop me on the rhythm, watch the clarity we speak. Get no parity between what we have and what we need. So strength out to the wise and protection for the meek.
A word unto the wise is enough.
Word is enough.
You can look but don't touch. My reparations and such. Cause out here in this jungle we roll. Every king has his role.
We can't deal with his son. Imagine when his father comes. Imagine when mommy comes.
My own. Protect my own. I will protect my own. Protect my own.
Yes. Yes. Love y'all, family. Love
Nice
and
protection goes out to you and yours.
And on Friday, hot
as I give thanks to the protection where I receive. Stay now in tune to the voice of Protege, alongside the sounds of Winter James. This come from a time and place, you know. Yeah.